Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to this regular call meeting of the Temple City Council. It is 5 minutes after 5. Please rise for our pledge of allegiance, which will be led by Jan Llewellyn, with the prayer first led by Liz Caraway.
Our most gracious Heavenly Father, 1 Timothy 4:12 says, "Let no one despise you for your youth, but set the believers an example in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and purity." Father, this is such a familiar verse to us when we think of heading back to school at the end of each summer, and the wisdom we can gain as adults from the youngest of children. As we begin the season of return, I pray for all the schools in our community and for the continued relationship between our city and our schools. In a world filled with uncertainty, God, I turn to you in prayer to seek your divine protection and safety for our students, teachers, administrators, and educational communities. I express my gratitude to you, God, for the opportunity to learn and grow, and I acknowledge your grace in providing us with educational opportunities. Father, as the school year begins a new year, I look to the city, who is also on the cusp of a new fiscal year, a time when decisions are hard and priorities are based on the needs of an entire community, not just for today, but for future years and even future generations. During this time of city renewal, I pray for our first responders and that their energy and hearts be strengthened. I pray for our staff that their days will not grow weary, but they are refreshed and energetic. I pray for our city management and city council for wisdom, for strength, for courage to do what is right and good for all citizens. May we all act with love for the common good, and may we be good neighbors, recognizing your image in every person. We thank you again for our schools, their administrators, teachers, staff, and the students, as well as this council, city staff, first responders, and all those who work to make this place we call home such a wonderful city. It's in your name I pray. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies. Before we move on to the next section, which is public comments, I believe Ms. Mayor Pro Tem Walker has things you'd like to make.
I do. I have a shout out to Sylvester Kaplan in Solid Waste. He went out of his way to personally visit one of my District 1 citizens who was having some issues. And it was just so kind, and it's really heartwarming for me to hear back from the citizens that they had a chance to get to see what we see all the time, which is just the selfless service that our employees provide. So, Justin, if you wouldn't mind passing that on, Sylvester, I would certainly appreciate you doing that.
Great. Next item is public comments. Citizens who desire to address the council in any manner may do so. We just ask that you step to the podium and state your name for the record, or raise your hand on the virtual platform. Please understand that no discussion or final action will be taken by the council, and we also ask that you limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes. So first off, I've got a kind of long list here tonight. Why don't we start with Willie Capps?
Thank you, Mayor, ladies and gentlemen. I am Willie Capps, 6817 Old Wicklow Lane. Two things tonight. On the bulk trash thing, I have a suggestion. You probably already heard it. Go low tech, give the drivers of trash trucks and recycle trucks a clipboard, and they can write down their address and check brush, other bulk as they drive through until they at the end of the night, and give it to the dispatcher, and they can make arrangements to pick us up later on. Or go high tech, give them an iPad or something else like that. That's one way of doing it. That might settle everybody's worries doing it that way. But my main issue tonight is renaming General Bruce Drive. Everybody knows General Bruce is guys who made Fort Hood, created Fort Hood. What's not known is how he did it. His favorite thing to do was lob artillery shells into your front yard, blow up your outhouse, your barn, kill your livestock. If you didn't want to go, there are people that left that were not making it. They took the pennies for $1, for pennies for the acres they had, and they left. But there were people that were doing just fine. But like I said, if you didn't want to leave, his favorite thing to do was show up in the middle of the night at your house with him, Sherman tank, and tell you you've got 15 minutes to get your stuff, get out, the house coming down. This is the kind of man that John Roos was. Now, I suggest we name him John Roos Drive after a true American hero. He survived World War II and Iwo Jima. He's a citizen of Temple. He started a successful insurance agency here in Temple there. He served on this Temple City Council and as its mayor for a number of years. I suggest renaming John Roos Drive to Kiefer Marshall Jr. Drive. He's a true Texan, he's a true Templeite, and I think he deserves this honor more than somebody that did a lot of bad things to bad people, to good people. My own wife's family included. Her family, my wife's family, was told to get off the land, whether their patriarch was in Pueblo, Texas, in the hospital, dying from tuberculosis. They had to move to town and find some relatives in town, go to their house, the land's gone, and they never got paid anything. So, I know you can't do it now, but think about it. And I think naming that after Chip Marshall Jr. would be a boom for this city. Thank you for listening to me. Did I go for my 2 minutes?
You did good. I'll usually give you a little bit of extra time.
He's a scout, trying to get a scout, he's doing it for
We'll shout out. Next up, Gail Peak. Miss Peak. It's good to see you. It's been a while.
Good evening, my name is Gail Peak. I live in Pro Tem Mayor Walker's district. I've been a resident of this community for over 30 years. I've watched Kaylee Drive come and go, and I've watched the winners and losers, and Kaylee Drive always wins. I came to talk about 2 things. Now I have 3 things. I know Kiefer Marshall, I couldn't think of any better honor than to have John Roos Drive renamed for Kiefer Marshall. So if that is something you can consider at some point, please do. He was a fabulous man. Knew him personally, served on a number of committees with him. First thing I want to talk about is trash. I am a fan of beta testing before making a firm decision. And I'm not quite sure what the bulk process is, but I'm trying it out. And I would say that city staff is more than helpful. My husband, Justin, I think you came out and thanked him because we try to work with the city as much as we can. But I am not sure what this will look like. And I will tell you that my experience was as follows. I called, had the questions asked, very clearly size, context, and things like that. And I was told that put your trash out on Sunday night, we'll pick it up anywhere from Monday to Thursday. No clarity as to when, where, or how. No clarity as to how long it's out there. So I'm back where I was when you couldn't pick up trash. Brush. We'll just see where it goes. I'm working with you, I'll see, but if it isn't, I'll be back here and my tone may be a little more irritated. The other comment is on the budget. I ask that in looking at the budget, the priority be given to first responders. And we really look at growth. I think that Temple is outpacing its infrastructure. I attended virtually the workshop meeting a week and a half ago, and I think City Manager Meyer did a fabulous job talking about the realities. There's a lot of stones, there's not a lot of blood. We got to figure out, make some tough decisions, and I think your budget does that. But I would say that in staffing issues, you want to look at the priority, first priority of first responders. And then I think you want to really ask, do you need to expand other staff to save money, I'm not quite sure how many staff are on the city's payroll. I asked that question several years ago and never got an answer. I'll ask it again. I know that there are, I think, 5 attorneys, which is fabulous for the work that you do. But if you're staffing up to go with growth and you're not thinking about the older residents, all you're doing is create a conundrum and you're going to create more tension as services don't get delivered and people are feeling that we're paying taxes and not getting our money's worth. Thank you.
Gail, question before you run off, question. Is your brush still fitting out there?
They do not put it out until Sunday night.
Oh, this coming Sunday night?
That is coming.
Okay, all right. I thought it was just past Sunday night.
No, I'm giving it a whirl.
Okay. And there are about 950 employed city Temple right now.
Okay.
So, which is with 103,000 people, that's about one employee, a little less than one employee per 100 residents. In our surrounding cities, that's many of them run about 1 to 100, some 1.2 or 3 to 100, and we're running slightly under 1 to 100. So just based upon our sister cities, we're running a little understaffed at 900, 950.
The enterprise responds to that because I ran a legal department for a Fortune 200 company.
Yeah.
There were 2 attorneys.
Yeah. Understood. All right, very good. Thank you, Gail. Good to see you. Next is Dorothy, is it Babick? Is that right?
No council. Nice to be here. It's first time for me. I'm actually a very new resident. I not only just moved to Texas. I moved to Temple. I chose Temple. From Michigan. Anyway. I got a few things. Not a lot of information, but I got this little card, top code violations. Okay, you must understand that I bought my house from another state. So it's not like I was a resident and I knew everything. So basically I had blinded that. I'm a senior citizen. And so I'm not looking at school districts or, like I did when the kids were younger. Anyway, so I moved here and this little thing, I'm sure you have a large book of code violation or some kind of manual of code violations. I'm sure this wasn't it for the city. But on this little thing, every single thing on here is not enforced where I live. And it just it does something to me that I don't want. It makes me judgmental. And that's the last thing I want to do. I'm sorry. I read some of your material I picked up in the lobby. You work very diligently, for the citizens of Temple. I have an alley behind me. It is, well, in Detroit, they had alleys, but that's where the garbage picked up. Okay, that's history. This alley is, I don't know what it's for. Yeah, I don't know. But the one by me is so overgrown and unkept. It's almost scary because it's like, those are the kind of places they dump bodies in in Detroit. Okay, now I'll go down, I'm learning the streets, you know, venturing out a little bit all the time. And I see other alleys and I look down them and they look like Park Avenue. They're paved, they're manicured. So I had called the city on it, and I was told it was my responsibility to keep up the alley behind me. I'm like, well, is that my property? And she said, no. Okay, well, you can surmise from there what my questions are. Why would I have to clean it up if it's not my property? And if it is my, and are you charging me property taxes if I have to clean it up? But not everyone, no one does it. So I don't know where that fits in our taxes. I just thought maybe if you had, you know, city workers that take care of that, just like picking up the garbage or the recycling, you know, like that. So, and as I said, I see alleys that I'd rather live in than the jungle. The other thing is, I have a dog. I walked her around the block a couple times, and I was shocked at a lot that I saw, according to this, because I have been a homeowner. I'm almost 70. I've been a homeowner since in my 20s. Okay, so I know there's codes. I walked around the block on every single one of these. Check, check, check. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Check, check, check. I have pictures if you'd like to see them. I'm not going to take up your time with explaining it. But what it causes to me and what I'm trying to make this new life here in Temple is it causes disharmony between the residents that have to live next door to each other, and someone is landscaping beautifully and the next door has blight on their front lawn. So that's what I came to talk about. I don't know your answers. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. I wanted to be in Temple, but I'm very disheartened as to what I picked. And I learned a lesson. Never to buy, like, when you can't see it. I mean, you can't see everything around it,
Sure.
you know, and take in all the factors. I was just thinking, well, you know, you used to take in the factor about the kids always being safe and good schools and this and that, but I didn't have to do that.
Well,
So I just look at, very nice, I like it, you know, I went through a few. And so the one I ended up with when I got it, I was like,
Ms. Fabbick, first, welcome to Temple. We're glad you're here. And Ms. Davis, correct me if I'm wrong, responsibility for the property is from the street in front to the middle of the alley in the back, beyond your fence. Yeah. So those properties that you're seeing that are Park Avenue down the alley, that's the homeowner taking care of those. Not everyone does. We have another resident here in town that often comes with the same complaint. But, be sure and leave your address with some of those folks there in the back. See the guy standing up there waving at you? Leave your address with him and he will, and the phone number, he'll be happy to contact you. And if you would like to leave those photos, leave those with Ms. Llewellyn there at the end of the dais. Ms. Babbitt? You know what, actually, that's actually a good idea. Janet, hand those back and then go, hand those to Mr. Craig back there. And he can help you.
Just to see what I came into and
Sure.
totally disheartened.
Understood. And thank you for coming and talking to us tonight. We appreciate that very much. You bet. Next, we have a David, is it Nagy? Yes, sir. You're up.
Good evening, everybody. I'm David John Nagy. I'm a resident here in Temple. I moved from Waco to get out of chaos and everything to come to Temple, where it was a little smaller, but it's starting to get as big as Waco now. And my concern was, I don't know if you ever noticed the grass on the highways and our loops here. Who cuts the grass and who keeps it up and kind of keep our streets clean too? Whoever did our grass last time did a terrible job. I could have done better myself.
I believe those are state contractors.
They're not doing their job right. If you ever get out there and go right around and look, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Understood.
I like a clean area. I like the state to be clean.
You need to talk to Ms. Babbitt. You can maybe help her out.
But you gotta remember, people come here to visit. I want them to come back. I don't want them to say, hey, they don't take care of the stuff. We'll go somewhere else. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
So that's all I have to say.
Okay.
Other than that, I love being here. I love living here. I love the people here. I could get along with anybody. And once you can't, you just stay away from that.
Very good.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you for coming tonight. Next is John Asbury. Okay, we'll talk to you then. Is Alan still? You know what? Okay, yeah, let's take care of Alan. He's next on the list.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Alan Lytle. I live here in Temple. Thank you for hearing me. I really wanted to be there in person tonight. Unfortunately, my balance is not as good as it should be, and so I can't walk on wet surfaces. And since it poured rain right before council, I'm afraid I didn't make it because I'm old and I don't run. But what I want to speak, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's been a while since we've seen you. We missed you.
I miss y'all too. What I'm hoping to do to actually be there in present next week when we do the budget here, the public hearing on taxes. And that's what I would like to speak to you just briefly about. There have been many times I've come to other meetings, not the council meeting, but other meetings that are scheduled and on the list where the elevator is locked to only employees. And thanks to the kindness of the ladies in the offices downstairs in the glass offices, I've been able to get up and use the elevator. However, next Thursday, I want to be sure that since it's a public hearing, that the elevator is free for the public to come up to the council chambers in the morning. Secondly, I have been coming to many council meetings, as you all know, and this is the first time I can remember seeing on the agenda a second and final reading that has also had a public hearing. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. There are 4 items that are second readings and public hearings. If you'll remember, we had the incident last week with someone hacking into the system.
Yes, sir. I was there.
Now today, for abundance of caution, we are rereading and going to hold a public hearing on those items in case there was anybody that wanted to speak on this.
Thank you so much. I'm sure I will. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alan. Next is Matthew, is it Moravec?
Good evening, yes, Matthew Morbeck and the Mayor Council. Thanks for the opportunity. I've been living here with my family for 5 years. I love living in Temple. It's a great place to live and to raise a family. And I wanted to comment on the item 11, the brush and bulky pickup. I support that change that's being made from quarterly to monthly. I just wanted to say I appreciate the council, responding to feedback. I think it's a great compromise in between the twice a month and the quarterly to do it once a month, and more than a good compromise. I think it's sufficient. Speaking for me and my neighbors, our whole neighborhood, everybody's on a half-acre lot because we're all on septic, and I've got 6 oak trees in the front yard, 7 in the backyard, and to have that flexibility of being at once a month. And I won't be every month, but sometimes it'll be back to back. And so I really appreciate you guys being willing to change it to be monthly. So thank you.
Great, thank you. So far, that seems to be working out well. Okay, moving on. It is time to recognize September as National Library Card Sign Up Month. Do you have your whole crew here, or some of your crew, or just you?
Oh, no.
All right.
You're gonna read the proclamation?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm gonna read from here.
okay,
Okay.
very good.
I don't know why I feel like I just always stand for these. I don't know. It's kind of weird just to stand up in the middle. So it is my honor to read this proclamation for National Library Card Sign Up Month. The proclamation is from the Office of the Mayor of the City of Temple. Whereas since its inception in 1987, Library Card Sign Up Month has been celebrated each September, marking the beginning of the school year with a focus on fostering academic achievement and lifelong learning. And whereas the